Part 3. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 21. Kakik. Xylin, the mature sister in a stepmother's skirt, laughed louder, her big eyes looking at Gu Huiyan and Su Yuntang. To be honest, after knowing Su Yuntang for so many years, this is the first time Xylin has seen him so embarrassed. But it just so happened that that person was a young guy who claimed to be an amateur. In the past few times, some people actually suspected that Gu Huiyan did it on purpose, but this time it was clear that he didn't do it on purpose, and his good intentions were written all over his face. So this time, Su Yuntang finally couldn't help but get angry, but he couldn't. A punch hit the cotton, making everyone feel numb. Perhaps it was so funny that many viewers just laughed and almost forgot to scold Gu Huiyan. Let's just say this guy is a talent. Thank you, I don't need it. Gently shaking her jade hands, Xylin gave Gu Huiyan the first answer gently. I don't need it either. What made the agent sister behind the machine slightly relieved was that Pei Jingshu didn't ask for a second portion. Not to mention Su Yuntang, the actor Su would not ask Gu Huiyan to help him fry it even if he ate it. On the other hand, the beautiful girl Shang Xuoyan seemed a little hesitant. Then I'll just do my own thing. Seeing that no one wanted the second portion, Gu Huiyan planned to go back and make his own. Hey, that. But when Gu Huiyan was about to turn around and go back to the kitchen, Shang Xuoyan finally couldn't help it anymore. Her pretty face turned red, she raised her hand a little embarrassed and said, "Can you help me add one too?" If the person at the scene who was most greedy for the steak was probably the doll dealer Zhou Yan. She actually wanted to say just now that she had finished eating and there was still a second portion. This small portion was too small and not enough to fill her up. It was just that Su Yuntang kept being in a bad mood, so she was embarrassed to say it. What she actually wanted to say when Gu Huiyan asked just now, but because she had wildly criticized Gu Huiyan for ruining the atmosphere before, she couldn't save the dignity to tell Gu Huiyan. Seeing that Gu Huiyan was about to do his own thing, Shang Xuoyan couldn't hold himself back any longer, so she stood up and spoke. When a pair of charming eyes glanced at Gu Huiyan, Shang Xuoyan was still a little uneasy. At that time, she regretted a little. If she had known better, she would not have condemned Gu Huiyan. Is it a bit too much to ask someone to make a second helping of someone I just condemned? But what surprised her was that instead of paying attention, Gu Huiyan smiled and said, "Okay, just wait, it'll be fine in a moment." After that, I went back to the kitchen to make steak. Laugh. At that moment, Shang Xuoyan breathed a sigh of relief, but she felt a little sorry for Gu Huiyan in her heart. But I am quite happy to think that I can eat 2 steaks tonight. But at this moment. Ahem. A familiar cough sounded from behind the machine. Shang Xuoyan's delicate body trembled when she heard this, and her pretty, doll-like face suddenly fell down. Pook. The cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu sitting on the other side couldn't help but almost laughed again. The person who coughed just now was Shang Xuoyan's manager. In the afternoon, when her sister reminded her not to eat ice cream, Shang Xuoyan was laughing beside her. She never thought that now the situation was changing and it was Shang Xuoyan's turn. Shang Xuoyan. Aim. Although very reluctant. But Shang Xuoyan still pouted her little mouth, stood up, shook her perky buttocks, walked to the kitchen and told Gu Huiyan. "Forget it, I won't eat it, thank you." Gu Huiyan wanted to ask what was going on, but when he saw her staring at the manager behind the machine with a resentful look, he understood instantly. "You really don't want to eat?" "There are no cameras here, the cameras are all focused on the dining table in the center of the yard, just Gu Huiyan and Shang Xuoyan." Shang Xuoyan probably didn't expect that Gu Huiyan would ask herself this. She was a little surprised, and her eyes widened, which was very cute. Maybe she was a little depressed and wanted to talk. Shang Xuoyan pouted and said, There's nothing I can do. My manager is keeping a close eye on me. I'm prone to obesity, especially at night. I can't eat too much. Usually at night she gnaws on a cucumber or a banana. That's it? Gu Huiyan glanced outside and saw that Shang Zuoyan's manager and the camera were not looking this way, so he waved to Shang Zuoyan thiefly. Gu Huiyan was wearing an apron at the moment, and there were still water stains on his hands from washing the steak. But who knows how good looking this kid is? Shang Zuoyan didn't mind even if he didn't look very sharp, and put his ear to his ear curiously. Just listen to Gu Huiyan's angry voice and say, "How about this? I'll fry a piece for you and put it in the microwave. After the recording is over and everyone goes back to rest, you can come over and heat it up to eat." The masculine scent rippled in her ears, making Shang Zuoyan a little shy. She was slightly stunned after hearing this. The beautiful doll girl's delicate face was filled with dullness, and she stared at Gu Huiyan infatuatedly, as if she had never thought that Gu Huiyan would say such a thing. Moment. Pook, chuck. She laughed like a silver bell, covered her mouth with one hand, patted Gu Huiyan a few times with the other hand and said, "I don't see that you are very good at it. Do you often eat secretly behind your manager's back?" "It's not." Gu Huiyan washed a piece of steak and threw it on the chopping board, then heated the oil in a pan and said to Shang Zuoyan while the oil was hot, "Who doesn't want to have some late-night snacks this late at night? How can you sleep if you don't eat enough?" The Gu Huiyan in front of him still had the same look of white shirt, big pants and flip-flops that he had during the day. Under the highlight of an apron, he fully enhanced his down-to-earth aspect. But no matter how he treats people or the way he speaks, he gives people a natural sense of intimacy. This made Shang Zuoyan couldn't help but stare at him a few more times. It was obviously the boy I met on the first day, but he cared about my feelings so much, and didn't care at all that I had condemned him before, repaying evil with kindness. To be honest, Shang Zuoyan never thought that she would be tempted by male artists in the industry. In this circle, if you are serious, you will lose. Shang Zuoyan's character kills both men and women. She is very popular in the circle, but the more she has such a character, the more sober she will be, and the less likely she will follow the people in this circle. How much does it matter? But at this moment, Shang Zuoyan could not deny that she was really attracted to this little amateur who was wearing an apron and standing in front of the natural gas stove, frying steaks in a pan. "So do you want it or not?" Seeing Shang Zuoyan's stunned expression, Gu Huiyan asked again. "If she wants it, Gu Huiyan will give it to her. Give as much as you like." "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Shang Zuoyan's little doll-like head clicked several times like a chicken pecking at rice. When she said she wanted it, she was really sure. It was the first time for her to do something like eating secretly behind her manager's back. It felt very exciting, and it seemed like it had opened the door to a new world for her. Facing Gu Huiyan's feeding, she couldn't say the word no no matter what. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 22. What are they laughing at in there? Hearing Shang Zuoyan's laughter coming from the room, the mature sister Xylin couldn't help but test her beautiful eyes and look at her strangely. The two young artists were chatting happily about something in the kitchen where the camera could not capture them. They were laughing from time to time. This scene was inexplicably ambiguous. Even the barrage is saying that the camera teacher is so hummed up, and why is there no camera in the kitchen? The cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu looked in the direction of the kitchen with her watery eyes, which contained a bit of sourness unconsciously. She frowned slightly and her lower lip slightly pursed. After a while, Shang Zuoyan came out of the kitchen. But I saw that Shang Zuoyan, who was in a bad mood just now because her manager reminded her not to eat a second portion, seemed to be in a happy mood now, with a smile on her pretty, doll-like face. "What did you talk about? Why are you so happy all of a sudden?" Xylin also asked. We didn't talk about much, we just told a joke. Shang Zuoyan smiled sweetly. Pei Jingshu. Aim. Several female celebrities started chatting. It is worth mentioning that the actor Su Yuntang did not interrupt again, nor did he show off his style in the atmosphere. I just occasionally say a few words to complement Xilan's words. It's just like a normal friend game without a core. It's not that Su Yuntang doesn't want to set the pace, pretend, anymore, it's mainly that he's afraid that if he opens his mouth again, Gu Huiyan will immediately say that and interrupt him. It's a psychological shadow. What made him even more speechless was that Gu Huiyan stopped talking and concentrated on cooking steaks in the kitchen. It's just that it took a little long for him to go in, and he still hasn't come out after more than 10 minutes. Isn't it done yet? Xilan, the mature sister with an exotic look on her face, looked towards the kitchen with worried eyes. Generally, it doesn't take much time to fry a piece of steak, especially fatter Wagyu beef. It can be fully cooked in 3 to 5 minutes over medium heat. Why did Gu Huiyan last more than 10 minutes? You can't do it, can you? Su Yuntang took a sip of the juice and chuckled. Oops. Shang Zuoyan thought to herself that she actually forgot to ask Gu Huiyan if he would do it. Not many young people have ever cooked these days. What if he doesn't know how to cook and his portion is fried black? Let me go and have a look. Actor Su said it was finally time for me to show off, and he stood up to assist Gu Huiyan. Zzz. Unexpectedly, at this time, there was a sizzling sound caused by the collision of water and hot oil in the kitchen. At the same time, it was accompanied by a burst of fragrance. Smell good. Shang Zuoyan is not only a foodie, but also has a very good nose. She can identify the aroma immediately when she smells it and says, "Is this black pepper juice?" It is true that chefs are not as sharp as foodies. There is indeed black pepper juice in the kitchen, which was prepared by the program crew. Many of the seasonings in it are sponsored, and this black pepper juice is one of them. Speaking of this black pepper juice, in fact, it is not a formal sponsor. Those who make this kind of thing simply don't have enough money to be a sponsor that allows celebrities to advertise on the show. The little money it sponsors may only be enough for one lens. The program team takes the money and is only responsible for putting their products in the kitchen. The stars have lenses if they need them, but there is nothing they can do if they don't. This kind of money is purely earned. Why wouldn't the program team enjoy it? There's a lot of work involved in making a show. Generally, celebrities don't know how to use this kind of strong seasoning, especially when frying steaks. Celebrities who are particular about high-end food generally want to eat the original flavor of the ingredients themselves. Just like the actor Su Yuntang, he only uses a few simple seasonings including butter, rosemary, pepper, and hand-ground sea salt when frying Wagyu beef. Sauce is rarely used. Maybe he thought the sauce tasted cheap. Smelling this smell, Su Yuntang instinctively had a bad premonition. When everyone moved to the kitchen, Su Yuntang twitched the corner of his mouth and said to himself. In the kitchen, Gu Huiyan was standing in front of the natural gas stove, holding a pan in his hand. Not only did he fry the steak in the pan until it was golden on both sides, he also sprayed it with black pepper sauce. At that moment, Su Yuntang felt that this kid had simply ruined the steak he had asked his friend to bring back from abroad. What's even more disgusting is, in his pan, there was not only steak, but also a poached egg and some udon noodles. Puff. When the camera was shown here, the barrage was laughing like crazy. Brother, what are you doing? I really thought I saw it wrong. Are you sure this isn't the black pepper steak I bought at the night market for 25 yuan a piece? You use a 5 Wagyu beef to make night market steak. 6. You are such a talent. A 5 Wagyu night market limited edition? Ha ha ha. When cooking steak at night markets and some fast food restaurants, I usually eat it with poached eggs and some pasta. One portion is filling and the portion is large. It's just that the raw materials used for the steaks cooked in those places are not necessarily good beef, and some may not even use pure meat but synthetic meat. And here, Gu Huiyan uses a 5-Weijia beef worth thousands of soft sister coins. You can say that Su Yuntang likes to pretend, but you can never question his quality. No one will doubt whether the snowflakes and cows produced by the actor Su Yuntang are real or fake, and how valuable they are. Celebrities will never be short of money and eat fake products. And it is precisely because of this that when Gu Huiyan uses a portion of a 5-Weijia beef that costs thousands of dollars to make night market steak, the contrast will be completely full. Etc. It seems like two pieces. I couldn't see clearly because the shots were overlapping just now, but this guy seemed to have used two pieces of a 5-Weijia beef to make the night market steak. No. Why did you do that? The mature sister Xilan put on a locally purchased cloak, which added a bit of gentleness to herself. She asked funnily. I want to eat like this. Gu Huiyan said. You said you wouldn't eat it, and then I ate it myself, so I did this. Gu Huiyan had thought about it before. If everyone ate, he wouldn't disturb everyone. He could simply fry it in butter, and he could make do with 2 more steaks and be full. But since no one is eating it, can't Gu Huiyan just cook it according to his own preferences? You can eat it yourself, why should you care about other people's feelings? Are you tired? At the same time, the system prompted. Ding, the host successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, points at 91. Kikik. This time even Pei Jingsha didn't hold back. She usually just smiled and immediately managed her expression, but this time she couldn't hold back and giggled. The corner of the actor Su Yuntang's mouth twitched crazily. He never expected that the 5-Weijia beef he brought could be eaten by Gu Huiyan for 25 yuan a portion at the night market. He never expected that after cooking it thoroughly, using chopsticks, and serving the second portion, this guy would be so good at it. Honestly, Su Yuntang has begun to regret why he brought steak here. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down-to-earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 23. It smells so good. The little wild horse Shang Zuoyan moved her little head with braided hair crazily forward, her nose constantly smelling the smell of black pepper sauce that lingered in the entire kitchen, and her saliva was almost drooling. It's undeniable. Although the taste of this sauce is strong, it is really delicious. She does not deny that the 5-Weijia beef fried in butter will have a unique aroma, but after all, the aroma is light and does not easily stimulate people's taste buds. On the contrary, it was the smell of black pepper sauce that they could smell from outside. Looking at the sticky udon noodles covered in black pepper sauce, Shang Zuoyan couldn't move her 2 big doll-like eyes away. Okay. She had the urge to taste this udon immediately. 1 bite of meat and 1 bite of noodles. Not to mention duoju. Suck. The sound of her swallowing saliva could be heard through the audio microphone to the ears of every audience watching the show. This made many viewers laugh and cry, saying that Shang Zuoyan, what kind of plane are you kidding? But should I say it or not? Although the 5-Weijia beef fried in butter is indeed high-end and classy, for many ordinary people, it does not seem to be that delicious. We are used to eating all kinds of soy sauce, vinegar, garlic, chili, and other strong-flavored things in our daily life. How about suddenly eating the so-called original flavor of the ingredients? Sorry, I'm really not used to it. And most people really don't think it tastes good. In fact, in real life, many people are not used to eating bland and raw food. In their words, take the ingredients, fry them in a pot, throw in the soy sauce, oyster sauce, bean paste, etc., pour in water, cover the pot and stew. Even a shoe sole will be so fragrant. Have eaten. But if you want me to have a piece of meat, Just fry it for a few minutes and let me eat it without adding any ingredients. Not only could I not eat it, I would also wonder if this thing was not meant for human consumption. Compared with the steak fried in butter, they prefer the steak with noodles and eggs at the night market for 20 or 30 yuan. More suitable for everyone's taste. Someone was wondering just now, would Weijiao really taste good when fried like that? They just didn't have the nerve to say it. Now, perhaps Gu Huiyan's use of Weijiao beef to make night market steak was a bit of a waste of beef, but eating it this way made everyone feel that it was in line with the taste. My impression of this guy is getting better and better. A few moments. When Gu Huiyan returned to the table with the prepared 5 Weijiao Night Market Limited Edition. Every guest immediately felt that the remaining Weijiao beef fried in butter in front of them seemed to instantly lose its aroma, and they didn't know what the hell was going on. Suck. Gu Huiyan still used chopsticks. He had cut the steak into small pieces just now, and now he was holding a chopstick with beef and fried egg udon noodles and stuffed it into his mouth. When the camera was shown to him, Gilug. Many viewers gulped in front of the screen. To be honest, they didn't even drool when they saw the celebrities eating butter-fried Weijiao beef, but when they watched Gu Huiyan take a big bite of noodles and steak, they moved their index fingers. That night, steak merchants in many places received a large number of takeout orders at the same time. Maybe it was because he was really showing off with great energy, so the mature sister Xilan gathered her clothes and asked in a low voice, "Can I have a taste?" Many people laughed when she said this. Maybe many people wanted to do this but were too embarrassed to open their mouths. After hearing this, Gu Huiyan asked Xilan strangely, "Aren't you hungry?" The mature sister smiled a little sheepishly and said, "Look at you, this smells so good." Gu Huiyan said a little embarrassed, "But this is what I have eaten." Xilan, who lost her image, waved her hands and said, "It doesn't matter." Not far away, the actor Su Yuntang looked at the scene and seemed to be struck by something. Oh well. In the end, Gu Huiyan chose to give his senior sister some face and let her have a taste. Xilan picked up some udon noodles with chopsticks, followed Gu Huiyan's lead with beef and fried eggs, and stuffed them into her mouth. "Yeah, delicious." He praised Gu Huiyan repeatedly. The cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu on the other side couldn't help but raise her chin when she saw this scene, and said to Gu Huiyan, "I want to eat too." Maybe she felt that she was more familiar with Gu Huiyan than Xilan, so she made the request directly. Gu Huiyan was a little embarrassed. "I asked you just now that you didn't want to eat. What's going on now?" Pei Jingshu and 11 Linkson said that you didn't say you were going to do this just now. It's such a late night, you kid put poison in the middle of the night, and you still eat it right next to us. Not to mention a celebrity, even if she came to Earth that day, she couldn't resist the temptation. Gu Huiyan had no choice but to give Pei Jingshu a taste. It is worth mentioning that the two female celebrities are really good at eating. They ate beef, fried eggs and udon noodles together, which made Gu Huiyan feel very sick. Shang Zuoyan, who was not far away, was a little greedy when she saw Pei Jingshu and Xilan eating her, but she didn't feel embarrassed to open her mouth when she thought that Gu Huiyan had said he had left a portion for herself. Shang Zuoyan is now thinking, is this what Gu Huiyan did to her? Hope. Please. Of him. It must be like this. She was afraid that Gu Huiyan would make a butter-fried steak according to Su Yuntang's recipe. She didn't deny that it was delicious, but after seeing the A5 Weijiao Night Market Limited Edition made by Gu Huiyan, she instantly felt that it didn't taste good. Without comparison, there would be no harm, right? Shang Zuoyan praise. The dinner finally came to an end thanks to Gu Huiyan's crazy chores. After the meal, everyone was not pretentious and rushed to help clear away the dishes and wash the dishes. After cleaning up, everyone chatted for a while and played some games. At about 8 or 9 o'clock, Xilan looked at the clock and said it was getting late, so I had to clean up and go to bed first. Shang Xuan, Gu Huiyan, and others were amazed that the mature sister went to bed so early. Xylan said that my sister is incomparable to you young people. If we don't go to bed early at our age, we will get wrinkles. Besides, the various tasks that female celebrities do before going to bed are quite cumbersome. They need to remove makeup, maintain their skin, and apply facial masks. Even if they go to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock, they don't really fall asleep until 11 or 12 o'clock. As soon as Xylan left, Su Yuntang felt bored and made an excuse to say that he was taking care of himself and went back to his room to rest. There were 3 young artists left. Pei Jingshu was called away by her manager's sister to give a lecture. Shang Xuan, with steak on her mind, went straight into the kitchen when no one was paying attention. Seeing that everyone had left, Gu Huiyan had no interest in staying here, so he simply went back to his room and beat the king a few times. This game ended just like that. The first day the guests came to the Crystal House ended quietly like this. It is worth mentioning that the third male guest did not arrive until the end. It is said that he will not be able to come today because his flight was delayed. It seems that he was absent from the first day of recording. Just when everyone returned to the room, the program team sent a notice to each guest, saying that there would be a heartbeat message session. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 24. After all, it is a romance drama. Although the guests are all top-notch and the CP cannot be so stuck, there are still necessary links. The program team asked each guest to send a message to the guest of the opposite sex whom he or she liked and felt good about today, and a group was created in advance to allow the guests to add their friends. The actor Su Yuntang was the first to send a message, and he sent it to Xylan without hesitation. The affectionate actor compiled a message that was noble yet elegant and dignified. Xylan, the mature sister who is applying a facial mask, seems to have no interest in Su Yuntang. On the contrary, she finds the down-to-earth young man Gu Huiyan quite interesting. So she sent a message to Gu Huiyan with great interest, and it was not entirely ambiguous, just 3 words. Go to bed early. It seemed that the Queen's sister was here to attend to official business. Hiccup. In the kitchen, Shang Xuan, who had just finished devouring the black pepper steak that Gu Huiyan had reserved for herself, felt full. Rubbing her belly, which still had a vest-line, she felt deeply grateful, and began to wonder whether she should send a heartbeat message to Gu Huiyan or Su Yuntang. In fact, she wanted to send it to Su Yuntang. During the day, she had said that Su Yuntang was definitely her type. This elegant man would not kill her too much. But who makes eating people short-mouthed? Shang Xuan, who had been praying for a long time while eating, saw that what Gu Huiyan reserved for her in the microwave was really her favorite, a 5-Weijio night market limited edition. God knows how happy she was. Furthermore, the details of how Gu Huiyan took care of her feelings in the kitchen also moved her heart. This guy has been acting like a slut all day long. Shang Xuan thinks that perhaps Pei Jingshu and sister Xylan will not give their heartwarming messages to him but to cousin Yun. In this way, there will be no heartwarming messages at all. Isn't Gu Huiyan a little pitiful? After struggling for a long time, for the sake of steak, Shang Xuan chose to send her heartwarming message to Gu Huiyan. The steak is delicious, just dress more elegantly tomorrow. The other side. Because of interacting with Gu Huiyan, using chopsticks with Gu Huiyan, and eating Gu Huiyan's steak, Pei Jingshu, whose filter almost broke, was pulled aside by her manager's sister and gave her a good scolding. Although she was in a bad mood, she couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth when the heartwarming part came. Of the 2 male guests, she had no interest in Su Yuntang, despite the actor's great reputation, good temperament, and sense of style. However, Pei Jingshu had no interest in the uncle and even felt that there was a generation gap between them. Gu Huiyan, on the other hand, made her quite fond of him all over the world. But she didn't dare to send too ambiguous a message to Gu Huiyan, so she racked her brains before sending. "The ice cream is delicious, thank you." After sending the message, Pei Jingshu lay on the bed and turned around, feeling restless. She was wondering if Gu Huiyan would send a message to her. Throughout the day, it seemed that Gu Huiyan was not very attentive to every female guest, but if you think about it carefully, he had interacted with every female guest. First of all, there was oneself. Needless to say about the ice cream, both of them ate a piece of ice cream. Because of melon seeds, I had a lively chat with Sister Xylin. In the evening, Sister Xylin even took the initiative to eat his steak. Although Pei Jingshu didn't see any communication between Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan, she remembered that she had an interaction with him when Shang Zuoyan went to the kitchen in the evening. Thinking about it this way, this kid is a bit like Neptune. To be honest, Pei Jingshu still hoped that Gu Huiyan would send a message to her, but he might send a message to any female guest. It's full of uncertainty. And what about Gu Huiyan? The glory of the King Shengli pronunciation. Victory. Gu Huiyan, who had just won a victory, threw his cell phone aside, stretched, stood up and stretched his cervical and lumbar spine. Because he was playing a game, Gu Huiyan was not in a hurry to send a heartfelt message. His teammates would greet his family before the game was over. He didn't want to start a nanny battle while playing the king. After the game ended, Gu Huiyan was surprised to find that he had received 3 heartwarming messages. "Am I so popular?" To be honest, this was something Gu Huiyan didn't expect. He once thought that since he had behaved so completely and uncharacteristically like a celebrity all day today, there would be no female guests who would fall in love with him. Although the third male guest did not arrive, the top actor in the entertainment industry like the actor Su Yuntang, who has a dignified appearance and elegant temperament, should be the one favored by the female guests, right? Gu Huiyan felt a little embarrassed when he saw the heartwarming letter. Lying on the bed, looking up at the ceiling, to be honest, Gu Huiyan really didn't think about who he wanted to send his heartbeat message to. The exotic goddess Sister Xylin is calm and confident. The taste of a mature woman makes Gu Huiyan unable to stop. If Gu Huiyan chooses, Gu Huiyan will definitely like her sister the most. There is no doubt about this. But Shang Zuoyan and Pei Jingshu are not bad either. The cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu, who is known as the famous face for domestic entertainment, seems to be less cold-tempered than Gu Huiyan imagined. She has a pretty smile and even helps herself with chopsticks at night. Even Gu Huiyan had peeked at the figure of the little wild horse Shang Zuoyan countless times. He cooked an extra steak for her in the evening and reserved it to say that Gu Huiyan had no idea about her. That must be a lie. It's really hard to choose. Gu Huiyan was a little confused for a while. To be honest, he had never thought before that he, an amateur, was qualified to choose between the 3 goddesses Shang Zuoyan, Pei Jingshu, and Xylin. Everything happened so suddenly, making Gu Huiyan feel a little dreamy. Gu Huiyan, who was holding the back of his head with his hands and lying on the bed looking at the ceiling, felt that he was surprisingly comfortable on the first day of this show. Think about it again and again. Gu Huiyan finally decided to send his heartbeat message to Pei Jingshu. The reason is simple. The message Sister Xylin sent him was bland and unembellished. At first glance, it was just official business. According to Shang Zuoyan, although she felt that she had lost her person in the afternoon, Gu Huiyan did not hold a grudge, it was just the heartwarming message she sent. What do you mean by dressing more elegantly tomorrow? Isn't this still disgusting? Look at Sister Pei Jingshu, the cold fair-skinned beauty who accompanied Gu Huiyan throughout the whole process, not only never laughed at Gu Huiyan, but also helped Gu Huiyan hold chopsticks and use chopsticks together, and often served as the leader of the atmosphere team when Gu Huiyan was doing his work. Therefore, it is natural that Gu Huiyan prefers Pei Jingshu. He turned on his phone and planned to edit the message. At that time, he was really thinking about a lot of things. He was going to send a heartwarming message to such a beautiful female star, so why couldn't he make it more formal? However, Gu Huiyan's educational level is really not high. Even after graduating from a bachelor's degree, he rarely studies literary works. He can usually complete a few sentences, but when he really uses them, he is at a loss for words. He was afraid that he would have no words in his head and finally finish the sentence, "If you are like me, then I think this matter, Thai pants are hot." That's a bit embarrassing. But if it were written in vernacular, it would seem less formal. Think about it for a moment. Gu Huiyan finally sent Pei Jingshu. "The moonlight is so beautiful tonight." After sending it, Gu Huiyan felt that it was a bit too ambiguous. Will it make others feel that I am a bit frivolous if I just send a heartwarming message like this on the first day we met? He just wanted to retract it before Pei Jingshu saw it, but who knows? Ding dong. Pei Jingshu actually replied. "Pei Jingshu, the wind is also gentle smile. Let's talk briefly. At this point, I feel that my own writing has almost begun. Maybe it's because I usually write too much fast-paced writing. Even though I've refined it many times, I still feel that the previous writing is a bit slow. But fortunately, I feel like I didn't miss out on what should be cool and interesting. There is a strange feeling in writing this book, that is, after finishing the day's manuscript, I immediately felt, damn, today's writing was great. Was yesterday's writing a bit slow and delayed? Then I feel like this every day. Every day I feel like yesterday's was rubbish, today is the essence. To put it shamelessly, I think this is probably the reason why my plots become more and more exciting as I write them, haha. In short, I hope I can maintain this creative enthusiasm and bring you more, better, and more interesting plots. Of course, I also hope that everyone can support this book more. It's a new month. There are recommendation tickets, monthly tickets, rewards, etc. If you can, feel sorry for me. It's best to read more if you can. Just click on the latest updated chapter to catch up. I heard that I don't recommend it if I don't read more than 100 times here. With good data and good results, the author has more motivation to contribute more and better plots to everyone. At the same time, you can also tell us in the comment area what plot you want to see or what song you want to see written. If you see it, it may be useful. Anyway, I hope everyone will support me. Kneel down and thank you. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 25. Hashtag Celebrity Love Season Crystal Season starts airing. Hashtag. Hashtag Gu Huiyan. Hashtag. Hashtag a very explosive guest in the history of romance dramas. Hashtag. Hashtag this little fresh meat is too down to earth. Hashtag. Hashtag Pei Jingshu eats ice cream. Hashtag. Hashtag a 5-way Gio Night Market limited edition. Hashtag. Hashtag 3 goddesses actually sent heartwarming messages to an amateur. Hashtag. Probably because the cast is too luxurious and can be called a galactic battleship, so just after the first episode was aired, the love drama Celebrity Love Season Crystal Season has successfully become a hot search on all major platforms. Many netizens discussed heatedly below. I never thought that such a group of top celebrities would be on a love show together. What's more, I didn't expect that the most attention-grabbing person among a group of top-notch people would be an amateur. He asked Sister will I pay to eat the ice cream he had eaten yesterday. What does this mean? He is still eating melon seeds with Xylin. Did I say something? The most annoying thing is that Xylin and Sister Pei actually sent him heartbeat messages at night. What is this guy's background? At secretary, let me check it out. It is worth mentioning that in such a popular romance show, the most discussed topic is not only the top actors, but Gu Huiyan, a young star who is on the notice for the first time. Everyone is curious, what is this guy's background? It's just that he can be on such a show where top-notch people gather, but he dares to act like a villager in the show. At this time, some well-connected paparazzi revealed Gu Huiyan's identity information and said that he was a young man under a certain company. In short, he is very ordinary, his family background is also very ordinary, and his family members are all employees of ordinary units. It was pure luck that he was able to be on this show, because the show team hired a group of top-notch people and the budget was not enough, so he was just lucky enough to make up the money. This news was obviously sent out by Zhang Dan, the producer behind the scenes. She didn't want to pay Gu Huiyan for the draft. After all, she was really just dragging Gu Huiyan to make up the numbers. But who would have thought that what Gu Huiyan did was outside the circle? Just last night, for the A5 Weijio Night Market limited edition that Gu Huiyan made, several bloggers on Douyin actually posted a follow-up video early in the morning. What was it called? Hashtag Gu Huiyan Same A5 Weijio Limited Edition. Hashtag. But Douyin was willing to support it, and several videos had over 100,000 likes within a few hours of being released. While it has attracted countless people's attention, many bloggers have also followed suit and cooked such full of contrast delicacies. Gu Huiyan also used this to successfully break out of the industry. Since all the artists have left the industry, Zhang Dan must be properly managed. As for online reviews, although most netizens have mixed reviews of him, with mixed reviews, I have to say that this guy is really popular because his down-to-earth actions on the show have gained a group of fans who recognize him. The Weibo account originally had tens of thousands of followers, half of which were bought by robots. After the show was broadcast, it increased to more than 200,000 overnight. Admittedly, more than 200,000 is not much, and even compared to some internet celebrities, it pales in comparison, but the comment section of his social account is quite active. Many people came here after watching the show, and many of them commented below asking him to stop spoiling our sister Pei Jingshu. It is said that Pei Jingshu's only fan is full of malice towards Gu Huiyan. After all, this kid has not been able to lead Pei Jingshu cleanly all day long. Pei Jingshu's eating of ice cream has been a hot search topic. It doesn't matter if she eats ordinary ice cream, but what she eats is the ice cream that Gu Huiyan has eaten. In the evening, I used chopsticks with him and even grabbed his steak. The ordinary sister Pei is known as the beauty of internal entertainment. She is a cold fair-skinned beauty who is serious in speech and a bit aloof. After being on this show, everyone feels like the filters are all broken. Okay. What about these? In fact, there is also the rhythm of the press tape bought by Pei Jingshu's agent Pei Yat. She does not want those people to bundle their Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan for marketing. She didn't like Gu Huiyan at all. In fact, she only saw the incident of Pei Jingshu eating ice cream from hot searches. At that time, she was so angry that she almost went to Gu Huiyan to settle the score overnight. What made her even more speechless was that her sister Pei Jingshu, who was usually so obedient, actually sent a heartbeat message to Gu Huiyan at night. She clearly asked Pei Jingshu to send it to Su Yuntang. Speaking of heartbeat information, last night's heartbeat information was announced after the recording of the show, and the program team will post it on the official Weibo. In the evening, everyone was in an uproar when they saw the heartwarming messages of the three goddesses sent to Gu Huiyan on the official WeChat account. Probably no one expected that such a down-to-earth little fresh meat would be favored by three goddesses, while their elegant and stylish actor Su Yuntang was ignored. For a while. There are still many people on the internet who feel sorry for Su Yuntang. And spurned Gu Huiyan. All in all, after the first episode of the program was aired, Gu Huiyan became the biggest winner even though he was sprayed all over by fans. Some bloggers have analyzed the reasons, and it is probably that Gu Huiyan is people-friendly and real enough. In the entertainment industry these days, celebrities are keen on packaging gorgeous personas, and are committed to drawing a clear line between themselves and ordinary people. They pretend to be high-ranking all day long, and they only want to be admired by fans instead of getting close to everyone. It seems that all the celebrities think this is right, so they start to try their best to package themselves and compete with each other to see who is more high-end and classy. At this time, Gu Huiyan did the opposite. He was such a handsome young man wearing flip-flops and big pants, eating ice cream, eating melon seeds, and eating steak well cooked, without using a knife and fork and using chopsticks. A kind of contrast is written all the time, and at the same time the three words down to earth are carried out to the end. It makes everyone feel that this little hottie in front of the camera seems to be no different from their own daily life, and they feel very close. So Gu Huiyan's success is not unreasonable. Excellent people don't need to take shortcuts at all. Excellent people take shortcuts? While the internet is still bustling with excitement. This side of the crystal courtyard. Gu Huiyan slept soundly. It's probably past 10 o'clock in the morning. It's a sunny day today. The ultraviolet rays in Yunnan are particularly strong. The blazing sunshine can be a bit dazzling when walking on the road. Well. When he woke up, Gu Huiyan opened the curtains and saw the quaint courtyard and the dazzling sunshine outside. He subconsciously covered his eyes, then rubbed them, then took his phone and checked the time. The show had already started airing at this time, and when the cameras showed Gu Huiyan, many netizens were saying, "How the hell do you know how to get up? I thought you slept to death. Did you know that my movie star got up at around 6 o'clock and went for a morning run? That kind of life is called self-discipline, right?" Some people start to curl up in the morning. Take actor Su Yuntang, for example. When the show started in the morning, actor Su had already put on a set of fresh and smart sportswear and went out for morning exercise and a walk. It's also like the little wild horse Shang Zhuoyan. Although she was very reluctant, she was dragged up by her ears by her manager early in the morning to practice dancing. There are also some people who keep messing around until after 10 o'clock in the morning and don't wake up after falling asleep. Many netizens almost scolded him after watching him sleep for several hours during the live broadcast. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 26. It's past 10 o'clock. Gu Huiyan yawned and rubbed his messy hair. To be honest, Gu Huiyan also thought about whether he should set an alarm clock tomorrow last night. After all, he was recording a show. Getting up early and doing morning exercises could also build up reputation. But after thinking about it, I gave up. He was just showing off, and being so self-disciplined doesn't necessarily mean his reputation will be good. Everyone must have thought so. It's not certain whether there will be a camera for him when we get up early to practice self-discipline in the morning. Besides, the program team doesn't set a set time for getting up, so you can sleep whenever you want. No job again. In fact, if there hadn't been a system prompt in my mind. Ding, the host successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, points at 69. Gu Huiyan may not be awake yet. Even though he was awake, Gu Huiyan was still a little confused. Where did the system prompt come from? He was sleeping and did nothing. Where did the down-to-earth prompt come from? Aha! Without thinking much, Gu Huiyan thought that he might be in a trance, hallucinating or dreaming. He yawned and found a towel, and he covered the camera lens in the room. Then he went into the room to wash up and tidy up, then came out and changed some clothes. Don't get me wrong, he just changed his shirt. The white t-shirt he wore yesterday was accidentally splashed with soup when he was eating steak at night. Gu Huiyan wanted to be down to earth, but he was not unhygienic. Of course, there was no need to change into the big pants and flip-flops on his lower body. He even went into the bathroom wearing the flip-flops and rinsed his feet with the faucet. After simply cleaning up, Gu Huiyan was just about to go down. Suddenly another system prompt sounded in my mind. Ding, the host successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, points at 91. Gu Huiyan. No matter how Gu Huiyan thought about everything he had just done, he still couldn't imagine where the hell this was coming from. He clearly covered the lens, so why was he so angry? It's also a reminder to wake yourself up in the morning. What's going on? What about this matter? In fact, it really didn't happen from Gu Huiyan's side. Time goes back to 10 minutes ago. Downstairs. Dining room. Did you sleep well last night? Xylin, a mature sister wearing a shawl, was carrying a carton of milk and pouring it into a cup. After pouring it, she handed it to the cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu who was sitting not far away. She asked with a smile. Pei Jingshu pursed her lips and smiled slightly, nodding slightly. In fact, she slept quite well last night and had an erotic dream. Recalling the touching message Gu Huiyan sent her last night and her reply, she couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth. Sister Pei Jingshu, who seems cold on the outside, is actually a sweet and cute girl on the inside. Hee hee. Xylin chuckled and was about to ask Pei Jingshu who she sent the heartbeat message to last night, when she suddenly heard a conversation coming from outside. There seemed to be two men, one of whom looked familiar, seemed to be the actor Su Yuntang, who was out doing morning exercises. And when Su Yuntang and another handsome boy carrying a suitcase and a guitar walked into the gate of the small courtyard, the barrage area started to buzz like crazy. Isn't this my country, Jiangshuo? He is the third male. 6. I figured out where the show crew spent their money. Jiangshuo, a well-known singer and idol. Like Shang Zuoyan, Jiangshuo, who returned from being a trainee abroad, followed the same airborne mentor marketing path as Shang Zuoyan. After returning to China, he went directly to the solo route. Taking advantage of the first year of the draft, he took the lead in several men's and women's team drafts. He quickly became a top player among his predecessors and was nicknamed Zhang PD. Subsequently, Tala invested in a popular rap show, and collaborated with several companies to create a hip-hop show, almost turning all the areas he was good at into a label industry chain related to him. Do you think this is the highlight of his career? No. They then filmed a drama with two male protagonists, and through the characters in the drama, he once again became popular and became the fantasy boyfriend of countless girls, which became a huge hit. Jiangshuo, who is capable of singing and dancing, is called the pride of domestic entertainment by his tens of millions of female fans. Of course, he's not perfect either. For example, many of the ballads written by this guy are too frivolous, and when he sang at formal occasions, fans said he was doing it because he was too involved, so his popularity with the public is relatively average. Especially when he sang a cover of Exaggerated during a formal performance, he almost got kicked out on the spot and couldn't get off the stage, and was criticized a lot. There are also a lot of videos of him on Station B next door. Now when he appears in the comment area, there are a lot of group starting emoticons. Hey, is there a newcomer? Seeing Jiangshuo coming in behind the actor Su Yuntang, the mature sister Xylin put down the milk in her hand and said with a smile. Is this the guest who was so busy that he didn't even make it to the first day of recording yesterday? She didn't mean anything sarcastic, her tone sounded like a joke. Hello, Sister Xylin. Jiangshuo apologized with an embarrassed smile. As a top-notch person, he had a lot of work. During the busiest month, he even slept on the plane. He was supposed to come here after a performance yesterday, but who knew that the weather there would cause the flight to be temporarily unavailable? It was delayed, so I had to put it off until this morning. Sit down quickly. The mature sister smiled and didn't care about it. She just stepped forward to help him take the guitar and put it aside. It is worth mentioning that although the actor Su Yuntang came over laughing and chatting with Zhang Shuo, he had no intention of helping him get anything. Zhang Shuo greeted Pei Jingshu, and the cold fair-skinned beauty just smiled politely and had no intention of communicating with him. It's normal for young people to be busy with work. Looking at Xylan, who was helping to pick up the things, the actor Su Yuntang smiled and pointed at a foam box Zhang Shuo brought and asked, "What's in the box? It doesn't look like a personal item, more like some food or something." "Oh, here's some beef I brought you all." Zhang Shuo grinned and said, "We can all fry steak together." As soon as these words came out, I don't know why, but suddenly the small courtyard fell silent. Everyone's expressions at that time were quite wonderful. Puff. The netizens next door were laughing like crazy. They want to say that last night's steak incident seems to have become a joke on the entire internet. Gu Huiyan's A 5-Way Jiao Night Market Limited Edition has become so popular that it has become popular. At this moment, probably the last thing that everyone in this small courtyard wants to mention is steak, but Zhang Shuo brought steak to everyone. Especially the actor Su. Actor Su was psychologically shadowed by Gu Huiyan last night. The thought of having to eat steak again and being tortured by Gu Huiyan's fully cooked chopsticks and Night Market Limited Edition made him crazy. The corners of his mouth twitched. Pook. Xylan and Pei Jingshu also couldn't help laughing. But after all, they have received professional training and can hold back. The first system prompt that woke Gu Huiyan came from here. "What's wrong?" Zhang Shuo asked strangely, not knowing what happened. "No, it's nothing." Xylan shook her head, and the gentle mature sister gathered the shawl on Xiang's shoulders and said with a smile, "I'll take you to the room upstairs. You came late and have no choice. There is only one room in the middle." With that said, she took Zhang Shuo upstairs. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 27. There are two two-story buildings in the Crystal Courtyard. The first floor is everyone's kitchen, living room, tea room, and other active places. The second floor is where you live. Yunnan belongs to the south and has high humidity. If you live on the first floor without dehumidification, it will be very humid. Therefore, many people here like to live on the second floor if conditions permit. There are 3 rooms on the second floor, and the 2 buildings are exactly the residences of 6 guests. Gu Huiyan and Su Yuntang were not stupid. They chose rooms with more windows on both sides, leaving the middle room for Zhang Shuo. This guy didn't say anything. He came late and had no choice. He couldn't rely on anyone. Only. When passing by Gu Huiyan's room, he saw that the door of Gu Huiyan's room was closed, and it seemed that she hadn't gotten up yet, so he asked Xylan doubtfully, "Who is this?" At this point, how big of a celebrity would he still be sleeping in the room? Xylan and Su Yuntang are both up, okay. He. The mature sister laughed and thought it was normal for this young man to feel too much. She waved her hand and said to Zhang Shuo, "You'll be able to see him later, he should be getting up soon." "That's it?" Seeing that Xylan didn't explain who the other party was, Zhang Shuo didn't ask again. After pushing the suitcase into the room, he simply packed it and went downstairs. When they came downstairs, Shang Zuoyan happened to be back. Shang Zuoyan, who was dragged out of bed by her manager early in the morning to practice dancing, was now covered in sweat. She was only wearing a suspender top and white shorts, revealing her curvy figure and slender waist. There was nothing left, but a pair of beautiful legs that were full of flesh but not thick, swaying. "Phew, I'm exhausted." She and Zhang Shuo knew each other. They had appeared in variety shows together before, and even rehearsed the New Year's Eve dance together. They had a dead CP in their early years. She wasn't that surprised to see Zhang Shuo. The program team even invited Su Yuntang and Xylan to come, so what's so strange about Zhang Shuo? After saying a simple hello, she asked. Gu Huiyan hasn't gotten up yet? What time is it? A group of top-notch people are getting up, but the big daddy is still sleeping in upstairs. Are you dumping a big name? How about I go call him? Siren, the mature sister, suggested. She was planning to go. That. Sister Pei Jingshu, who had been silently serving as a vase, suddenly volunteered and said. I'll go. Oh. That's fine. Xylin smiled and looked at Pei Jingshu with a pair of big Kazilan eyes with a somewhat ambiguous look, which made her look a little uncomfortable. Pei Jingshu went upstairs. Su Yuntang went to change clothes. Zhang Shuo looked at 11 Lin in the restaurant and Shang Zuoyan who was eating boiled eggs. He wanted to find something to talk about, but his eyes swept over not far away. A pack of original melon seeds. Who eats this? He took it and asked strangely. To be honest, he didn't know how many years he hadn't seen melon seeds. It's really a surprise that something like this would happen at a show recording site where a group of top-notch artists appear. Puff. Shang Zuoyan laughed, and many viewers also laughed. Sure enough, every artist had the same reaction when they saw everything related to Gu Huiyan. The one upstairs, Shang Zuoyan pursed her lips. Ah, this. Zhang Shuo was a little confused at first. This celebrity who hadn't gotten up even after 10 o'clock was eating sunflower seeds on a variety show. How big of a brand does this have to be? He's not an old-timer, is he? The second system prompt in Gu Huiyan's mind came from here. Gu Huiyan, who had already cleaned up his image, couldn't figure out where the down-to-earth reminder came from, so he simply thought about it and planned to go out. Creak. The door opens. Who knew that as soon as Gu Huiyan opened the door, he bumped into Pei Jingshu who raised her slender hand to knock on the door. Early morning. The second floor of the boys' residence in Crystal Courtyard, at the door of Gu Huiyan's room. The bright sunshine shines along the treetops onto Gu Huiyan's face, neck, and jawline. It also shone on Pei Jingshu's waterfall-like black hair. The angle is very tricky. The pretty face of the cold fair-skinned beauty suddenly turned red. A pair of tender eyes stared at Gu Huiyan dully, and for a moment he didn't know what to say or what to do. The barrage exploded at that time. Many people said that the two of you had arranged such a sweet scene for me early in the morning. Do I agree or not? Today, Sister Pei is wearing a French dress with black florals. The whole design is very textured. The white dress sleeves and shoulders are designed with all black puff sleeves. This dress is not cheap at first glance. Paired with Pei Jingshu's quiet, elegant temperament like a clear lotus, and her cold white skin, it doesn't look too pure. You can't see how much of her dress is exposed at all. At most, it's just a little bit of her swan white neck and a pair of jade legs like jade lotus roots. Not even her shoulders are exposed. But unfortunately, Sister Pei wearing this dress gives people a very eye-catching feeling. This is female celebrities, they don't need to brush aside at all. Gu Huiyan was a little surprised when he opened the door early in the morning and saw Pei Jingshu standing so elegantly at the door of his room, pretending to knock on the door. Ask. Is there a problem? No, no. Pei Jingshu was obviously a little panicked, her pretty face was red. It was so obvious for a cold white-skinned beauty like her to blush. She dodged her eyes and said. Everyone sees that you haven't gotten up yet, and I'm worried about you, so, just let me come up and call you. That's it? Gu Huiyan nodded and said with a naive smile. Sorry, I forgot to set the alarm. I overslept. No, it doesn't matter. If you get up, I'll go down. For some reason, Pei Jingshu was particularly shy when she saw Gu Huiyan this morning. It probably had something to do with the heartbeat messages they exchanged last night. The family has been strictly controlled since she was a child, and she was controlled by her sister when she entered the circle. Pei Jingshu, who has never been in a relationship, became so shy just after exchanging a heartwarming message with Gu Huiyan. It is not so difficult to understand. Only looking at Pei Jingshu like this, many viewers couldn't help but post comments. Damn it, Gu Huiyan, you and I are irreconcilable. MD, Gu Huiyan comes out for a duel. Stop fighting one-on-one, let's just fight in a group. Brothers come together and charge at him. Female celebrities like Pei Jingshu are goddesses in the eyes of many fans, and they are jasmine flowers that cannot be tarnished. Seeing her interacting with the male guests, not to mention the male fans collapsed, wishing they could just crawl along the internet cable and teach Gu Huiyan how to behave. Hello. Seeing Pei Jingshu's panicked figure trying to run away, Gu Huiyan couldn't help but call her. What happened? The cold fair-skinned beauty paused, turned around slightly, and looked at Gu Huiyan carefully. Gu Huiyan grinned, his smile looked full of youthfulness in the sunshine. He waved to Pei Jingshu and said, "Good morning." Pei Jingshu was stunned for a moment, and the blush on her pretty face became more obvious. Laugh. Secretly delighted, she pursed her lips shyly and nodded, saying, "Good morning, good morning." That moment. Gu Huiyan. U**U0026 amp, MMP, %UN #@ Fans watching the show next door began to send crazy greetings to Gu Huiyan's family. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Bulletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 28. Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu had a tacit understanding not to discuss last night's heartwarming messages. They just said good morning to each other and asked each other if they slept well last night. While chatting, he went downstairs. When they came downstairs, the actor Su Yuntang just changed his clothes and went downstairs. The actor Su Yuntang, who came back from his morning exercise, washed up and dressed up, and put on the same business and casual shirt and trousers as yesterday. He always looked like a refined and elegant uncle. On the other hand, Gu Huiyan's big pants were still the big pants from yesterday, and his flip-flops were still the same flip-flops from yesterday. He had hardly changed clothes except for a white t-shirt on his upper body. They went downstairs together, forming a strong contrast. "Hey, you, are you still willing to get up?" Shang Zuoyan stuffed the freshly peeled hard-boiled eggs into her mouth, her cheeks bulging, and she looked at Gu Huiyan with some resentment. Although her speech was a bit yin and yang, she had no ill intentions towards Gu Huiyan, she just felt a little unbalanced inside. They are all artists. My manager dragged me by the ear at around 7 o'clock in the morning to go over there to practice dancing. I continued practicing until just now. Fortunately, Gu Hui was able to sleep until now. Gu Huiyan shrugged and said nothing. MD didn't have much work, the program team didn't ask to get up early, and he didn't want people to sleep in? He. The mature sister Xilan smiled and said nothing. Who is this? On the contrary, it was the newly arrived male San Jiangshuo, who looked at Gu Huiyan strangely. To be precise, looking at Gu Huiyan's outfit, he was obviously astonished by the guest's exquisiteness. Xiao Gu Huiyan. The actor Su Yuntang, who had just returned from exercise, took out cereal and milk from the kitchen cabinet and introduced them to Jiangshuo while making them. It turned out to be a guest. Jiangshuo laughed after hearing Su Yuntang say that Gu Huiyan was an amateur. Fortunately, he thought the senior sleeping upstairs was some big-name senior, but he turned out to be an amateur after making a fuss for a long time. He couldn't help but smile. When I first saw this outfit, I thought he was the landlord here. Puff. His words successfully aroused a burst of laughter. Only Pei Jingshu frowned slightly and seemed a little unhappy. Gu Huiyan didn't care, because he was telling the truth. How could he not look like a landlord in what he was wearing? Gu Huiyan even wanted to say that this buddy's description was quite appropriate. After nodding and shaking hands to say hello, Gu Huiyan was no longer interested in chatting with these celebrities in the restaurant. He turned around and dove into the kitchen. It was already past 10 in the morning, and Gu Huiyan was a little hungry. He had to eat a late breakfast, otherwise it would be bad for his stomach. Xylan, who happened to be getting something in the kitchen, saw Gu Huiyan and couldn't help but ask, "What are you looking for?" Today, Xylan wore a pure white dress with lace decorations. It was not very slim or even a bit wide, but occasionally if she moved too much, pulling up the sleeves would highlight the curves of her body. It's a very thoughtful piece of clothing. It is worth mentioning that she is also wearing a locally purchased cloak, which matches her exotic appearance very well. Gu Huiyan scratched his head and asked, "Have you had breakfast?" The mature sister said, "We ate them all. Jingshu and I drank milk, and Yanyan ate boiled eggs." Celebrities definitely don't eat big fish or meat for breakfast, let alone any carbohydrates. They usually just drink some milk, cereal, boiled eggs, or vegetable salads. Healthy. When Gu Huiyan asked about breakfast, Xylan thought he wanted breakfast, so she pointed to Su Yuntang and said, "If you want to eat, we can come together." Su Yuntang took away the cereal and milk before. Gu Huiyan glanced at Su Yuntang, who was making cereal over there, grinned and said, "Forget it, I can't get used to those." The mature sister asked doubtfully, "How about you boil an egg?" "Well, you go and play, Sister Xylan, don't worry about me, I can do it myself." Gu Huiyan nodded and didn't say what he wanted to eat. Xylan thought he wanted to boil eggs, so she told him where to put the eggs and went out to the restaurant. At this moment, the actor Su Yuntang was making cereal while chatting with top actor Zhang Shuo. Actor Su quite likes Zhang Shuo, a junior, who is sensible and well-spoken. He also understands his style and knows how to cooperate with him. Just take what he said just now about how healthy the cereal and milk are. Zhang Shuo nodded and confirmed that it was true, and also sent him a wave of milk brands that he endorsed. This made Su Yuntang laugh. He asked while soaking cereal, "Did you have breakfast on the way here?" Zhang Shuo nodded. "What do you want to eat?" Movie Emperor Su continued to ask. Zhang Shuo said that the ordinary breakfast is similar to what you eat. Su Yuntang laughed and said, "All artists are like this. They shouldn't be exposed to oily things. At our age, we no longer rely on our bodies to make a living. But in the morning, we still need to be healthy, so we can't eat oily things." He acted like a senior taking lessons from younger artists. As the actor, Su Yuntang indeed has such qualifications. Although Zhang Shuo has done well in the past few years since he returned to China, in terms of popularity in the domestic entertainment industry, he is still far away from Su Yuntang. Zhang Shuo has no interest in disturbing the actor Su Ran's appearance. He is chatting and recording a show, so he should be more humble and polite, so as to make his popularity with passers-by better. Because the camera was always focused on Su Yuntang, the audience also felt like they were being lectured by the actor Su Yuntang. Some netizens who had just woken up and were showing off their mutton steamed buns, meat buns, and hamburgers suddenly felt that their breakfast made them feel guilty. But just when Su Yuntang was talking, Shishi. In the kitchen, there was suddenly a fierce sound caused by the collision of water and hot oil. "Su Yuntang. You just said you can't touch grease in the morning. What the hell is this doing in the kitchen?" The sound also attracted other guests and the camera. When everyone looked at, then he saw a tall and thin figure in the kitchen, standing in front of the range hood on the kitchen stove, holding a pot as if he was stirring something. Gu Huiyan poured soy sauce into the pot, and the aroma of soy sauce came from the kitchen, causing the corner of Su Yuntang's mouth to twitch. He just said that as an artist, you should not be exposed to oil and should eat healthy food in the morning. but Gu Huiyan in the kitchen was frying something with oil and soy sauce. Isn't this, no longer a human being? Do you have to slap him in the face? Ft. Ha ha ha. Many viewers who were watching the show burst out laughing. They didn't mean to laugh at Su Yuntang, they just thought this scene was too humorous. Why did Gu Huiyan do the opposite every time when the actor Su wanted to show off? Kikik. The three girls on the side, Xilan, Pei Jingshu, and Shang Zuoyan, were smiling coquettishly, obviously recalling the scenes last night. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 29. I gonna go see. Shang Zuoyan suppressed her laughter and hurriedly left the restaurant. She found an excuse and walked to the kitchen while secretly laughing behind the camera. She was really stunned. Also accompanying her was the PD teacher in charge of the camera. What are you doing? When Shang Zuoyan passed by, she happened to see Gu Huiyan wearing an apron, carrying a pot and stir-frying some onions, ginger, and cabbage. In the pan on the stove on the other side, there were 2 poached eggs that were golden on both sides. Gu Huiyan picked up a pot of water that had just been boiled and poured it into the almost fried pot, and said to Shang Zuoyan, "Place some noodles to eat." He is very skillful in his technique, even when eating by himself. He is very measured in how much water he pours, and it seems that he usually drinks less. At that time, all the comments on the screen were, "Isn't this soy pot noodles?" Indeed. Gu Huiyan was just making hot pot noodles. As a northerner, Gu Huiyan was used to eating noodles when his parents didn't know what to eat since he was a child. Soy pot noodles are also a normal food in the north, and every household eats them. Northerners are accustomed to eating pasta for most of their 3 meals a day. In their eyes, not eating pasta is equivalent to not eating a proper meal. Drinking milk and eating cereal is indeed healthy, but in the eyes of northerners, can it be called a meal? At most, it's called after-dinner snacks and desserts, okay. Can snacks and desserts be eaten as meals? This morning, I didn't want to eat some pasta, a whole bowl of Lanzhou ramen, a Reggiano burger, or a bite of soy milk, deep-fried dough sticks, and tofu. I don't have enough energy to work at work this morning. As an artist, Gu Huiyan hasn't eaten noodles for a long time. He used to eat milk, cereal, eggs, etc. like them all day long. Speaking from his own heart, Gu Huiyan really didn't like those things. Not to mention whether he was full or not, he didn't feel very healthy. After eating for a while and exercising, my knee felt uncomfortable. When I went to the hospital, the doctor even said that he was suffering from calcium deficiency and asked him if he hadn't eaten well recently. If it weren't for the agency's request and inspection, Gu Huiyan really wouldn't like to eat those things. Now that the system requires him to be down to earth, he just follows his daily lifestyle. He doesn't care whether he's fat or not, whether he's in shape or not. Love so and so. Gu Huiyan has been eating like this since he was a child, and he doesn't necessarily gain much weight. People who don't eat much don't necessarily gain much weight even if they eat pasta and deep-fried food. As long as you exercise, your condition will be maintained very well. If you're lazy, there's nothing you can do about it, so you'll have to say something else. And when I heard that Gu Huiyan was making hot pot noodles, at that time, everyone in the entire recording scene was probably confused. Probably no one expected that an artist who came to the show would have hot pot noodles for breakfast at the venue of the variety show. Other celebrities and artists wish they had to eat lighter in the morning, be more self-disciplined, exercise, and work hard to show off their healthy lives in front of the camera. Fortunately for him, he slept until after 10 o'clock without talking, and even had to eat hot pot noodles when he got up in the morning. Everyone wants to say, "Brother, what the hell are you here for?" Are you sure you are here to appear on the show? Why are you doing it like you are at home? The program team's phrase "treat the program team as your home" is really just talk. Why the hell do you take it seriously? Shang Xuan, who was relatively close to Gu Huiyan, had a wonderful expression, with incredible expression written all over her doll-like delicate face. He. The mature sister Xilan covered her mouth and smiled. In the morning, Gu Huiyan said that he couldn't get used to eating cereal and milk. She thought Gu Huiyan wanted to boil an egg to eat. After a long day of fuss, people need to have dinner. Come to think of it, this is what Gu Huiyan should do, right? But it was actor Su Yuntang, whose expression was particularly ugly. He also said just now that artists should control oil, sugar, and fat. Well, Mr. Gu made hot pot noodles early in the morning. The sizzling sound of the stir-frying pot just now was like a slap in the face, making him very uncomfortable. The shadow of last night was still vivid in his mind, and Su Yuntang was murmuring in his heart. He was wondering if this kid was just here to confront him. Cough. After all, Zhang Shuo is also a top artist who has been in this industry for many years, and he still has some expression management. Trying his best not to laugh, he looked at Gu Huiyan strangely, with a hint of ridicule, and quietly said to the cold fair-skinned beauty Pei Jingshu sitting on the other side. I've never seen any artist eat this early in the morning. This was the first time he took the initiative to talk to Pei Jingshu. It was not difficult to see that he was actually somewhat aggressive and his goal was very clear. Originally, Pei Jingshu had no intention of talking to him. After all, she was not familiar with him, and her personality did not like to communicate with many people. If it was someone else, she would just nod and deal with it, but Zhang Shuo was talking about Gu Huiyan, which made her frown. After thinking about it for a moment, she opened her red lips and said coldly. Everyone has a different lifestyle, and artists are also human beings. She didn't even look at Zhang Shuo. Don't look at Zhang Shuo, who is one of the top men in domestic entertainment, with more than 100 million fans on the internet, but Pei Jingshu is a woman who has always been known to be polite to any top male. Besides, Zhang Shuo's female fans can fight. Who says Pei Jingshu's male fans can't fight? Yesterday, the people who reported on Gu Huiyan's hot searches online were all Sister Pei's male fans. Do you think they were joking with you? Well. Deflated, Zhang Shuo scratched his head angrily and didn't take it seriously. A few moments. Gu Huiyan came over with a bowl of hot pot noodles covered with 2 poached eggs. A bowl of fragrant hot pot noodles, light yellow soup with oil floating on it, cabbage and some green onions and ginger scattered near the noodles, 2 fried poached eggs with golden sides lying on it. Just looking at it makes one's index finger move. A smell of green onions and oil also wafted around. Suck. At that time, it was undeniable that several guests in the restaurant took a sip of saliva involuntarily. Even Su Yuntang, the actor who preaches that he must eat something healthy and not greasy in the morning, felt for a moment that the bowl of cereal he was soaking no longer tasted good. Carbohydrates are indeed the thing that most stimulates humans' desire to eat. The only one who remained calm was probably the new guest, the male Sanjiang Shuo. Probably there is no such thing as eating noodles in the morning. He asked Gu Huiyan funnily. Is it really okay to eat so much oil in the morning? He was a little scared when he saw the oil floating on the soup of the hot pot noodles, especially the 2 poached eggs, which were fried in oil. But facing his words, Gu Huiyan asked strangely. This is called oil. Gu Huiyan's expression at that time was described as suspicious of life. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 30. Puff. Many viewers laughed crazy at that time. Yes. A bowl of soy pot noodles, tell me it's called oil? Almost every household in the north eats like this in the morning, right? Isn't this oily? Zhang Shuo's face was still full of incomprehension. He was standing from the perspective of an artist, and the two of them had their own opinions. The actor Su Yuntang was watching the fun on the side. He had been reluctant to argue with Gu Huiyan because of his predecessor's reputation and his own elegant persona, but it seemed that Zhang Shuo had no such concerns. When Zhang Shuo came, someone helped him fight against Gu Huiyan, and he was quite happy. It's time for someone to teach him. Actor Su is inexplicably feeling a little happy at the moment. You know, Zhang Shuo has been a men's team draft coach, and Gu Huiyan is just a trainee who has never debuted. When the two of them get along, Zhang Shuo naturally has a natural suppression of blood. Logically speaking, Gu Huiyan should have no place to refute. But who knows? Not only did Gu Huiyan not feel that he was wrong, but after listening to Zhang Shuo's words, he smiled and asked, "Have you ever eaten fried chicken legs?" "Ah?" Gu Huiyan asked suddenly, and Zhang Shuo was stunned for a moment. Is there any necessary connection between these two topics? Before he could answer, Gu Huiyan asked again. Have you ever had French fries? Have you ever eaten fried chicken wings, fried pork ribs, fried kebabs, fried chicken wishbones, or fried spring rolls and croquettes? No, why are you asking this? You. Have you ever eaten fried dough sticks? You. Have you ever had hot pot? I. Gu Huiyan just asked without explaining. But after asking, everyone understood what he meant. Just say these things, he said. Each one has the word fried in it, each one is a fried food, each one is oilier than the last one. Finally, I got to try hot pot. His meaning is already obvious. You ask me if I put a little oil on a bowl of noodles and it doesn't feel oily? Of course I don't think so. Do you even know what oil is? Do you know what fried food is? Those really fried foods are called oil. The bowl of noodles I ordered can be called oil, so what are those things called? My life is good but my life is not good? You potion? Oil tyrant? Your standards are too low. Pook. Pei Jingshu, who had been stern with Zhang Shuo just now, listened to Gu Huiyan give examples one by one, and immediately turned her head and laughed. The charming mature sister Xylin also couldn't help laughing. She turned her back and her delicate body trembled slightly. I have to say that Gu Huiyan really has some offensive power in him. Zhang Shuo seemed to have a complete set of equipment, and he looked like he was going to kill everyone to teach Gu Huiyan how to be a good man. Gu Huiyan may only have 1 or 2 magical costumes on his body, but he is so full of control. At most, Zhang Shuo could only level A, but before he could use his skills, Gu Huiyan came up with a set of 1-3 consecutive controls and defeated him in seconds. This leapfrog single kill is exaggerated. There is no sense of violation at all. He convinced everyone. Ha ha ha. Many netizens laughed in the comment area. Originally, because of Zhang Shuo's arrival, there were many more fans of his in the comment area. It's normal for female fans to defend their own country. Comments sections with idols with this kind of popularity are usually very violent. They all attacked Gu Huiyan at the beginning. But as Gu Huiyan's examples became more and more funny, even they were amused and didn't know whether to scold Gu Huiyan. There's no way to refute it, dear. All in all, the scene was particularly humorous. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x3. At this moment, Gu Huiyan's system received a notification. Well, it turns out that 91 can also be a unit. Zhang Shuo looked a little embarrassed. He was obviously choked by Gu Huiyan. He wanted to say a few more words, but he felt that whatever he said in the atmosphere at this time seemed like he was making an argument. He simply shook his head with a livid face and said nothing more. This master is also a scheming person. Generally, those who can resist quarreling with others when they are frustrated are those who have something. Chiliu. Seeing that Zhang Shuo didn't mess with him, Gu Huiyan felt bored and simply lowered his head to eat his own noodles. One bite of noodles and one bite of egg, it was a joy to eat. I have to say that Gu Huiyan was good at it. His 2 fried poached eggs, golden on both sides, were thrown into the pot before they were taken out of the pot. Now the eggs were wrapped in some soup, and they were all juicy when you bite them. Very exciting. And seeing him eating so deliciously. That. The mature sister Xylan touched a small bowl from nowhere and came over and asked. I see you've ejaculated a lot, can you give me a little bit to taste? Gu Huiyan's bowl of noodles was indeed a lot, but that was also a lot in the eyes of an artist. Have you eaten yet? Gu Huiyan asked strangely. It smells too good. Xylan didn't feel embarrassed and said with a smile. When she opened her mouth, Pei Jingshu immediately stopped and said. I want to eat too. The scene from last night immediately overlapped with the present one. When the little wild horse Shang Zuoyan saw this situation, she thought, how can I be left behind if I want to eat? As soon as I opened my mouth, I saw the manager over there looking like a knife. He had no choice but to lower his hand in grievance. You. Gu Huiyan had a headache on his face and said, what's going on with you guys? You guys are all saying, don't eat, I've eaten, but you want to steal it from me. It seems that when I make something in the future, I will have to make it for at least 2 people. In the end, Gu Huiyan gave some noodles to Xylan and Pei Jingshu. The 2 women didn't eat much, and they only tasted them, so the ones they gave out didn't stop Gu Huiyan from eating enough. What made Gu Huiyan a little distressed was that the 2 women took one of his eggs away from him. Pan-fried poached eggs. It is worth mentioning that while Gu Huiyan was eating, he could always feel a somewhat cold gaze coming from the director team. In addition to the staff of the directing team, the people standing over there were the assistants and managers of the artists. Gu Huiyan recorded the show by himself and had no managers or assistants at all, so Gu Huiyan was very confused for a while. Who was looking at the labor? After searching carefully for a while, Gu Huiyan discovered that it was Pei Jingshu's agent sister. Gu Huiyan looked at each other and immediately lowered his head with guilt. He must have secretly let Pei Jingshu eat ice cream yesterday and was discovered by her agent sister. Now he asked Pei Jingshu to eat noodles again, which seemed to be easily hated by her manager's sister. Gu Huiyan should be glad that this was a live recording, otherwise Pei Jingshu's manager would have come to settle the score with him. After dinner, Gu Huiyan washed the pots and dishes, and washed the dishes for Pei Jingshu and Xylan without saying a word. There was nothing going on in the morning, and the program team had no plans. Everyone was chatting in the restaurant. Because it was soon going to be noon, several guests were discussing what to eat for lunch. It's really like coming here for a vacation. Gu Huiyan was not interested in getting involved in the topic of what to eat. Caca. He ran aside to eat melon seeds. At that time, the sound of him eating melon seeds caused another round of complaints. Fortunately, except for the newcomer Zhang Shuo, everyone else was used to it, so no one said anything. However, Gu Huiyan was a little depressed because the system points gained by eating melon seeds had actually decreased. Doesn't this force him to start a new job?